All right, today I'm starting on page 269. Page 269. And today we are talking about combining like terms. Combining like terms means that we're trying to put x's with x's, y's with y's, x squareds with x squareds, and xy's with xy's. All of those are different terms, okay? An x is different from an x squared, a y is different from an xy. They're different. So we only want to put them with things that are completely like them. This way you can learn how to simplify. Simplifying is making a problem as simple as possible. A polynomial is something that has multiple terms. Multiple, not multiply. Okay, and you'll know that you have it when you can solve something on your own. So, we're going to take a look at this expression. Positives and negatives do not matter when we're looking for combining like terms. We're going to keep the negatives and the positives with our terms. And so you'll notice I highlighted that 2x a yellow color. The 2x does not combine with the plus 3. They are not like terms. But it will combine with this 4x. It will not combine with the 5 because the 5 is by itself. It does not have an x. It is not a like term. It will not combine with the negative 4x squared because the negative 4x squared has an extra x there. They are not the same. That's like the difference between me asking for chocolate ice cream versus chocolate chunk ice cream. Some of us really want just the plain chocolate taste, and some of us want those chunks in there. Very different flavors. It does not combine with the 11, but it does combine with the negative 15x. Notice that I am including the signs with my term. Again, here's one of those chocolate chunks. It does not combine with that, and it does not combine with a regular 15. So I'm going to go through again with a different color. This 3 is normal by itself. It can combine with the 5 that's normal by itself, but it cannot combine with the x squared. They are different terms. It can combine with the 11, which is a normal by itself number, but not with that 2x squared. It can combine with the negative 15. So I'm going to switch colors again. That negative 4x squared can combine with the 2x squared. Notice the numbers don't matter, the signs don't matter, it's the letters that really matter. So a term is anything separated by a plus or minus. So that negative 2x is a term. The positive 3 is a term. That negative 4x is a term. The positive 5 is a term. The negative 4x squared is a term. The positive 11 is a term. The negative 15x is a term. The positive 2x squared is a term. And so is the negative 15. Everywhere where it was separated. Okay. Because we're online, we're not going to do this part where we check with our team. I'm going to kind of lecture it to you. And we'll do some checks for understanding under homework. So then we have all of the same terms here. I want to make sure that you can group these together properly. So I want you to put all of the x squareds together in the first box, all of the x's together in the second box, and all of just the numbers together in the third box. You will not be using boxes 2 and 3. Okay. When we come back together in class, this is something that I'm checking for you to have done all together. It said, should everyone in class have grouped the terms the same way? We're going to say yes, because they should be grouped by x squareds, x's, and numbers. So now that we've grouped them all together, we went and we had highlighted. And I told you that we want to start with our x squareds. That's because our x squareds are the highest exponents. So we start with highest exponents. And so I need to know what is negative 4x squared plus 2x squared. And the only reason we put these together is because those x squareds are the same. So in my final answer, I should get an x squared. So that leaves me only with combining negative 4 and positive 2. So this is negative numbers and positive numbers. For some of us, we struggle with that. For right now, I'm going to go and draw a picture. So I have negative 4, and then I have positive 2. So these cancel, and these cancel. So I'm left with negative 2 pieces. Okay. Then I'm going to go to x's. And x's I used yellow, so I'm going to use orange to write with just because the yellow is harder to see. So I have negative 2x, negative 4x, negative 15x. Negative 2x minus 4x minus 15x. These are all negatives. So I have negative 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have negative 4, and then I have negative 15. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So you can see why some of us really like having a calculator handy or memorizing how to add and subtract because we don't want to go through and count this all the time. So negative 2 and negative 4 makes negative 6. Negative 6 and negative 15 makes negative 21. Hex. You could have counted all of those and gotten to the same answer. Then I have my pink ones. My pink ones were just my plain numbers. So I have 3 plus 5 plus 11 minus 15. 3 plus 5 is 8, plus 11 gives me 19, minus 15 gives me positive 4. Notice that I do have to write that plus sign. Notice that when I added together on my x's, my x stayed. Notice that on normal numbers, it stays normal numbers. We don't add an x just because it stays normal numbers. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to simplify each of these expressions. So I'm going to go through and I have 3x to the 4th. I'm looking for x to the 4ths to combine with. That's all I got. So now I'm looking for x to the 3rds. So now I'm looking for x squareds. So now I'm looking for just x's. And now I'm looking for just numbers. So I'm going to start with my x to the 4ths. And the important part is that they are x to the 4ths. So in my final answer, they're going to be x to the 4ths. 3 plus 12 makes 15. So I have 15 x to the 4ths. Then I have my x to the 3rds because we're going in highest order to smallest order. I only have one of those, so that makes things really easy on me. I don't even have to combine, it's just that thing. Then I have x squareds, and I have 2 of those. So I'm going to combine my x squareds together, and they still equal an x squared. That's the really important part that we have to memorize, is that this does not become something bigger than x squared. It doesn't become something other than x squared. It's still just an x squared. We combine -8 and -7. It's getting more negative. We really add them together. 8 plus 7 gives us 15, and it was more negative, so it's a negative number. Then I have plus 2x minus 4x because I'm looking for the x's because that's my next highest number. My x's stay just x's because I'm combining them together. If I was combining zebras and zebras, I would just get some more zebras. I wouldn't get something like a zebra. I have a positive and a negative number. The negative number is bigger. And I'm going to do 4 minus 2 makes 2. It was negative because the 4 was the negative number and it was bigger. You can always go back to drawing boxes if boxes are easier. Then we have one last piece, and that's that plus 3. And the plus 3 doesn't have anything to combine with, so we stop right there. None of these can combine together because they are all different. Okay. So I'm going to go and I'm going to double check to make sure that we learned things by making sure that B, C, and D are things that we do together, and I'll ask everybody randomly. We're going to completely skip number 7. For number 8, they talk about mistakes that happen. I don't want to talk about mistakes yet. We'll talk about those tomorrow or live in class. And that takes us to our lesson summary on page 273. Okay. So like terms are things that are just numbers. 3, -7, 8, I can combine those together. These ones right here that all have y's, they are all like terms. So are these things that are a squareds. But notice that this thing that says y and this one that says xy, those are not the same. And guess what? Neither is y squared. So like terms have to have the same variable, which is a fancy word for letter, with the same exponent, which is that tiny number up high. They give you examples of things that are unalike. So like 3 apples do not mix with $7, do not mix with 8 dogs. As soon as we put that on there, it is not the same. Okay. My combinations that I'll often use is that chocolate ice cream is not chocolate chunk ice cream. And for me, this is kind of like if I have x versus x squared. Another example I'll use is that if I ask for strawberry yogurt, I do not want strawberry banana yogurt. And that's kind of like if I have x and how that's not equal to xy. So strawberries are not equal to strawberry banana. Okay. So we'll talk live in class as soon as you're done watching this video. For those of you who have a little bit of wait time in between, on page 275, you could start trying to solve those problems because that will be our assignment on Wednesday.